women don't feel courted as much. They're not feeling as cherished. They're not feeling pursued.
Hil and Ben are queens of manifesting.
A big pushback we get is like, I'm going to thank him for taking care of my kids, especially as moms, right? We reject help all the time.
Using their manifestations framework, they have helped countless women achieve their dreams.
If you can't receive a compliment, how are you ever going to open yourself up to receive the bigger things you're calling in?
Join us as we dive into how to create the reality you want with a controversial twist.
God, this will help you manifest your best life ever.
Now join me in welcoming Hil and Ben. True story. I used to get panic attacks, and when I went and investigated this, it turns out I had low iron, something 1 in 3 of us have. Now, regular iron supplements, gross. They're full of synthetics. Your body doesn't even absorb it, and be honest, inflammation. So when I found this supplement, I just had to share it with you guys. It is Great Spirit. They are organic, synthetic free. It is all whole food based, and they're produced here in Australia. I cannot believe the difference I've seen in my energy levels and no panic attacks. So if you want to check them out, you can head to greatspirit.com.au. Use the code Keshia20 for 20% off your first order and enjoy feeling good again. Before we get into today's show, I firstly want to thank you for being here. It is because you tune in each week that I'm able to continue on, and I really appreciate your support. Secondly, if you enjoy the content, please head on over to the homepage of the show. Hit subscribe, like, share, and please review the channel. It would mean the world. This is a small way you can contribute to better guests and greater conversations. Now, without further ado, you're listening to Return to Wisdom with Keshia. Welcome everyone to Return to Wisdom podcast. Today I am delighted to introduce.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm delighted to share that we have Hilary and Amber from Twin Transmissions in the studio today. We are recording at Pod Byron, which is very exciting. Loving my new studio.
Oh, it's such a vibe.
It's such a vibe,
Yes.
and it's like 15 minutes from our house.
Oh yeah,
so
well,
it's
and
so good.
it's number 18. I'm not going to give away the address so you don't get stalkers. But I was like, oh my God, this is my lucky number. I mean, it's a vibe.
Yeah, it is.
We love
so
it.
congratulations.
Thank you.
You're
and you
welcome.
guys look so good in those chairs and like
Thank you. Well, in our colors,
setup.
it's all.
We will get into that. We will get
Okay.
into colors. But today we will be talking about manifesting and manifesting hacks, because this is where you guys thrive. I know you've helped so many people be more magnetic and create the life that they want, basically. So I'm really excited to have you guys in here today. We've got so many juicy things to talk about and share, because I guess we share lots of similar values, but I'm excited to also learn from you, and I'm sure everyone else is.
We're excited to be here.
Yeah, I know. We're so excited.
Yeah, because we know this is not our podcast. So we're like, we want to follow your lead, but we're also so excited to be here and just share all of this, because literally this is what we froth about. This is what we talk about at all times.
Yes.
How can we become more magnetic?
How do we manifest? Especially because we're here for the women. We have this registered process that most people know us for, called manifestation with an E, MEN, manifestation, and that we sort of came up with that. What is it? The breakthrough moment of our life happened about 2 years ago. Do you want us to start there?
Please.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Because this is Burr speaking. So throughout, if you're listening to us on the pod, then because we have the exact same voice, we will identify ourselves every now and then, because otherwise it is so confusing.
Well, yeah, and we try not to talk over each other anymore because of those two twins that went viral that were
in
like
Australia.
In Australia, that were like they were called twinnies, and all
Did
they
you
ever
see
did
that?
was talk
Oh,
over
did you-
each
oh,
other.
I thought you sent it to us.
Oh my
Someone-
gosh. Yeah. So there were these two twins. They are older, probably like in their 60s. They dress the exact same.
And there's something actually like psychological going on. Like they have an unhealthy attachment to one another and being a twin.
Yeah.
So they speak in unison. They were giving like a not what is it called when you watch something and then you're giving a recount, like a watcher recount or something. Anyways,
they were giving a recount of a situation that they had seen on the news, and they literally were speaking in unison the entire time.
And they were wearing the same shirt. And they're from like a really country place in Australia, and people were sending it to us, being like, "This is you guys," and we were like, "Oh no, it's not." We're like, "Is it?"
Now we're changing everything we do.
Yeah, we're like, stop talking over each other. We're going to do our best.
Yes.
So we so a couple of years ago, what you were saying, Burr?
Yeah. So we have always been obsessed with manifesting. It literally, even though we were in corporate jobs for probably until 4 or 5 years ago.
About 5.
Yeah, about 5 years ago. And we were closet manifestors. Like we were manifesting before it was like a cool thing to do. And we would discover, like we saw The Secret. And so it was always something that we were using in sales specifically. Yeah. And we were always obsessed. It was what we would be talking about to anyone who would listen. And like, what are you manifesting? Like, have you tried this method? Have you tried that? And then about 2 years ago, so this is Burr speaking, I've been married to my husband for almost 20 years. Hilary's been married for almost 15. Mm-hmm. And a couple of years ago, we were manifesting these specific things. And my husband's a builder, and we were doing a reno. And I wanted this house full of brand new furniture. But my husband was saying, oh, like we've just spent a lot, like more money than we thought on the renovation. You know, we're going to have to hold out for a minute. And then I was like, okay. And then Hilary, you were manifesting.
Yeah, speaking of Kim and Nami earlier, I wanted a cervical orgasm because I had heard that cervical orgasms are like the ultimate manifestation hack because it's all frequency, vibration, all the things, right? If you haven't ever had a cervical orgasm, look it up. Yeah, it's it can change your life.
Yes.
And but the thing is that you need your husband's buy-in or your partner because they have to hit a very specific angle. They have to last for a very long time. And they have to have a lot of intention on their side to help you get there.
Yeah. And prior to, like, you were basically sending your husband links of like Supercock Camp.
Yeah.
And like enrollment has stopped. And why haven't you enrolled? And you were just being like super crazy
I was being
about
super
it.
crazy. Yeah. Because I was like, I really want this. And why aren't you seeing that it's so important to me?
Why aren't you providing it for me?
Yes. Like control, which was like, a total boner killer anyways. But
yes. Well, we know that now.
Yeah.
And so then our girlfriend, Hil, you were on the beach, one of our girlfriends, Ellie, who we love. And she was saying, oh, like there's a book you guys should read. It's Laura Doyle, The Empowered Wife. And I
think it'll get you guys what you want.
Yeah, I think it'll get what you want. And this is Burr speaking, I had seen something on my Facebook or like my Instagram feed. I know it wasn't Facebook, it was Instagram. And it was like, are you an empowered wife? And I took the quiz and I remember being like, oh, I like don't need this book at all. Like I'm amazing in my marriage. Like there are no problems that are because of me. If there's anything, it's only because of my husband, right? Like that was my thought. But in the name of manifesting, we were like, all right, well, we said to our friend, if you think this can get us what we desire, then we're down to try it. So we read the book. It's a bit, for anyone that hasn't read it, it can come across as a bit like traditional. And it talks a lot about like respecting your man and like giving him the space to lead. And
I would say Laura Doyle, the author, her mission in life is to end world divorce.
Yeah.
And so the whole slant on it all is really like save your relationship at any cost.
That's how it almost felt to us.
Yeah, that's how it felt to us. But we were like, we're try this out.
Yeah. And so we did. We basically did everything that she said to in the book. And within 4 days, my husband goes, order all the furniture you want. Not just that, the drapes, do this. And I was like, this is fucking magic. And then Hilary got your cervical orgasm in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, so he started showing up like a lion, like unprovoked. Well, yeah. I guess
no, you were using all the tools on him.
Well, yeah, but not being controlling, which was the whole thing. I was like, I would love a cervical orgasm, right? Because her thing is around talking about, it's like essentially stating an outcome versus how to do it. And so I was like, I would love a cervical orgasm.
That's what you started telling your husband.
And then he just started showing up in this way. He hit my cervix for the first time, was putting me in these crazy positions. I was crying. Because you're like TMI.
I know.
My kids never see this. Yes. Yeah. Well, no, because apparently there's a lot of like your cervix can be numb and stored emotions, which we know. The body keeps the score. And so, and it was just, and like, that was actually enough. And what I've realized since then is that I don't know that I actually had the cervical orgasm because I do want to be transparent. We definitely like got close and all like a lot shifted, but, to actually get the cervical orgasm, I didn't even care about it after we got that far because I was like, oh my God, everything else is so amazing. It doesn't really matter.
And you saw that he was taking action to like deliver your desire to you.
100%.
But this is our breakthrough moment because we started, Hilary and I we can get really obsessive. And I can really, I don't have kids. And so I have a lot more free time.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically we started putting all of our friends, we started telling all of our friends like, oh my God, we read this book. Our husbands are just like showing up in this way. They're taking all this stuff off our plate and our manifestations are coming through so fast.
That was the biggest thing.
That was the biggest thing. But when we would put our friends in these group chats, like as an experiment, and we would say, read the book, they would text us and they would say, absolutely not. I am not reading this book. It is subservient.
This is patriarchal bullshit.
Yeah, patriarchal bullshit. And we were like, oh, no. Like, but because we were trying to get people to get to the fact that this makes your manifestations come through quicker. Like, having your husband or your partner, or even now we know it's like even your coworkers that are men, like if you can understand them in a way where you can inspire like the best from them, then they take all the stuff off your plate so that
you don't want to do.
Yeah, so that your creation energy is freed up to manifest your best life ever. But these are the early stages. So, but what was so great is that because our friends were like, no fucking way, I started to research evolutionary psychology and biology because I was like, Laura,
why does this work?
Yeah, why does this work? Laura, like if my friends can't get down with her book, then let me understand the science behind it so that I understand like what's actually going on with my husband and why it is. Because I started to see my husband in a completely different way. Whereas before, the expectations I had on him and like the lens that I was using to view him was like having him, like I was expecting him to be like me and expecting him to be like a woman. And now I realize when you can understand men, because what Hilary and I always say is that, yes, women, we are in this modern society. We don't actually need men. That being said, as we were going into our 40s, we realized we're really tired.
Resentful.
A lot of our friends are resentful. Like, either our friends are divorced or they're kind of talking about divorcing their husbands because they're like, he's not stepping up in the way. But then what we realized, there's so many layers here, but we were like, yes, we are these women in this modern society. Yes, men are in this modern society, but our primal brains are still running the show. And so if you think about the spectrum of human evolution being like 5 to 7 million years, like this era of the hyper independent woman
and
over
girl
the last,
bossing.
Yeah, girl bossing, and we don't need men, and we're probably smarter than them. That was the message we got growing up in like the 80s and 90s in America. But our primal brains are still running the show. So if you think that you can outrun millions of years of evolution with only 100 years of this hyper independent like state that we're in, you can't. And it's why at the core of it, women, our deepest desire is to feel safe and secure. And for men, it's to be trusted and respected. But, that can be a bit difficult for some people to digest, like especially women when they're like, like I have to respect him, but like he doesn't respect me. It doesn't feel, so it's like, it can be challenging for some people to like be the one to go first.
Well, for some people, for women.
Yeah, for women.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and
we do bring it to ourselves.
Yes, go for it.
My sister came to me, I don't know what book she got it from, but she's like, I heard something and it really resonated with me. And I was like, okay, bring it, tell me. She's like, in a relationship, there is only room for one person to get respect and one person to get adoration.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know. And I was like, so what do you mean? And she's like, well, essentially, we as women thrive off adoration. And not saying like we don't get
respect. Yeah. I hear you.
You don't respect us. But But like if we are demanding respect, we cannot get an adoration. Then there's a real imbalance within the situation, and vice versa. So if there's like this giving and taking, or like giving and receiving, should I say, where it's like traditionally men will really thrive with respect and traditionally women will really thrive with adoration. So if they're like the number one nutrients, I guess we could say, within the relationship, and so I'm giving him respect, he's giving me adoration, there'll be a real cohesiveness there. But if like we as women are in there and we're like, I demand your respect because I'm doing this and this and whatever, which I think a lot of women go into their relationships with, probably a lot of social conditioning around that. Definitely a lot of social conditioning around that. But it means that then you're not giving respect to him. He's like, almost the number one nutrients that men kind of require to just feel that like, you know.
Oh, 100%.
Well, and you can see it visually.
You can't. Well, and what I would say as well is that no one ever, at least for us, no one ever taught us what respect means to men. And so that's why I think initially when we were trying to tell our friends like, oh, men like need respect. And they were like, ugh, you know, it was like, oh no, but what respect looks like for me, for example, with my husband, like we would bicker almost every single day. Prior to me reading this book, we would bicker every day. And that my story about that was we're just a couple that bickers. That's just our vibe, you know. But what I understood after like really researching what respect looks like to men was I thought, oh, okay, I actually interrupt him a lot. I make fun of him because I thought it was funny. I mean, cringe. Cringe. I overtake his stories. So like he would be telling a story and then I would say, you're going really slow. And oh no, it's a nightmare. But I used to think that was.
It was cute. You used to think it was cute.
Well, and so, and that's the thing is that respect doesn't have to be this thing that makes that's a trigger, right? But because when you understand what respect actually means to men, they're very small things that then you can apply to everyone. So now I'm like, because we were researching the evolutionary component of this. Women, we have evolved to talk over each other. And that's a sign of bonding, of social bonding, because if we're interested in a story, we're like, oh my God. And so we're all talking over each other. But when we were researching this, I started to really study men like an anthropologist. And I was like, if that's the right word. And
I think
so I started to examine them in conversation and like what do? They never interrupt each other. They're very, I mean, I remember I used to be in the car with my husband and he would be on the phone with his business partner and they would have moments of silence for 10 to 15 seconds. And I used to be like, why aren't you guys talking? Like, this is so annoying. But for men, it's more like they just communicate totally differently. And so the point of like the manifestation process that we have is that, okay, because some women are like, well, like, why do I need to understand men? Like, you know, like, why can't they understand me? Like, it's my turn it's our turn for them to come like, and be more like emotional, be more this, be more that. But what we say is that, oh my God, no, the reason why you want to understand men from this evolutionary lens is that you become so effective in the way that you communicate to them. You're giving and men don't actually need that much. I'm not saying like you don't need to give them attention or anything, but really if you're showing them respect, if you're giving them the space to lead, if you're giving them gratitude, like they don't actually need a lot and they have the capacity to take on so much more than us. That was another aha moment is that they can do so much. We always thought we had to show up like them. Yes.
And then it had to be equal.
Yes.
Right? Or we
like
had to
physically.
or prove our worth.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, okay, if he's out in the yard doing these things,
I need to be inside like cleaning the house or like doing laundry.
No, all you really have to do is just look at him and say, wow, you look so strong when you're carrying that bag of leaves.
Yes.
And then they're like, wow.
Or like, thank you so much. Like, I'm so grateful how like you're such a great provider, like how you take care of us and like how you take care of the family. And again, like you see them, we call this fluffing their feathers because what will happen is
like a rooster.
Yeah, like a rooster. Because when you start to speak life into your man and start giving him respect and gratitude, his chest literally puffs out like a rooster. And and it's like because another thing that women will like anyone will come to us for in the comments on our socials is like, again, like, why is it my job to pump him up? Like shouldn't he be shouldn't he have his own thing going on? But it's like, oh no, like if you're in a relationship with a man, the opinion that he cares the most about is yours. Like at least in our experience with our clients, like, because would you say with your husband as well, like you're the center of his universe and he cares more about, like, you're the opinion he cares about. And so,
and you can tear him up or you can build him down.
You can, you can tear the, yes, you can build them up. Women, we have this power to either build our men up or to tear them down. And so it's a responsibility that once you learn, you're like, but it doesn't take a lot of energy. And that's,
I think something that I like to explain to people, and I also just want to, as a side note, Alison Armstrong's book, who is The Queen's Code. I will be getting her back on this podcast, but previously did speak to her on the Road to Wisdom podcast, and she is brilliant.
Yes, she has like a deep reverence for men.
Yeah,
yes,
but it comes from a place of actually not just I need to look after men.
Yeah,
it comes from a place of we're in a partnership, and you can't be in a partnership if you're constantly emasculating your partner. like tearing them down constantly without even realizing that you're doing it. So like you want to learn this stuff, because when you go into a partnership, and obviously Togger and I have absolutely tripped and fumbled our way through this shit. But like what I would suggest to anyone going into a new relationship is that you're working together. It's not a battle of the sexes, which is for some reason we like take this battle of the sexes situation into our relationships. And it's like, why are we doing that? What for? There are like, I mean, we have been developed biologically, like evolutionarily in certain ways to be able to cope with certain situations. When we come into a relationship, why don't we do the things that we are best at doing, and then like it's and pump each other up for the things that we can't do, because they're gonna handle it.
Or the things we don't want to do.
Because
the
that's
process,
even more of it.
Well, and so with Hilary and I, our process, whenever we're working with clients or if anyone's reaching out to us on socials, our starting place is always like, what is your desire? What is it that you want? And so it doesn't like, because for our process, for manifestation specifically, we're not like, our process isn't there to keep you in a relationship at any cost. It's to figure out like, what is it that you desire? Because our tools, because evolutionary psychology is a framework, not just for marriage, but also for dating, because there's actually, it's the same philosophy, but with completely different tools
and strategy.
Strategy, because in dating, utilizing evolutionary psychology, it's about like positioning yourself as a high value mate or like potential mate. It's about keeping him in the chase so that his primal brain is pinged to ask you out in person. It's about getting from the DMs and like being somebody's pen pal for weeks to actually getting into a date. And so when we realized that, because Hilary, when we first started like coaching our friends that were dating, we were giving them the advice of like if they were married, and it was not working.
It was so bad.
It was so
shout
bad.
out to Natalie and Natalie. Yeah, I feel so, yeah. But they actually
two of our ride or dies.
Actually they've locked down.
They've been
masculine, amazing
provider.
Men. Yeah. So we
men.
got there in the end. We figured it out.
We did, but it was a really great learning for us to be able to understand that in dating, getting a man that you would love to lead, that you would, because again, in dating, what's also been lost in the I don't know, since
the modern society.
Yeah, the modern society, yes, is that women don't feel courted as much. They're not feeling as cherished. They're not feeling pursued. And so like this masculine, like women
leadership.
Women have like taken on this masculine role in dating, which has totally like, it makes dating not very fun. Like because we speak to so
exhausting.
And exhausting. And so we, what we love about evolutionary psychology is that you can use it in the dating dynamic, but what we have this term called the pivot. And so we help women get commitment in dating through the same tools, evolutionary psychology. But then once you actually are in a committed relationship, there's a pivot. So it's about, giving more, like being more nurturing towards the man. But when you're in dating, like your job is not to be nurturing. It's not to be overly available.
Don't be his mom.
Yeah, don't be his mom. And so we're really proud of the fact that we got to the place where, irrespective of what, because again, our process is for women. It's called manifestation, but the biggest plot twist of it is that it's not even about the men, because our whole thing is that there's men, like our relationship with, what we've found that women's relationship with men, whether that be in dating, whether that be in marriage or even in the workplace, it's draining so much of their creative life force because no one taught us how to really understand men and how different they are from us and how that's okay. But like expecting them to show up like women is a total drain. And so our thing is like, figure out how men think and how to inspire their best, and then call back all that creative life force to manifest your best life ever. And and our process is I know when you were talking about like going into a partnership around, like you're in a partnership and it takes both of you, but we would say that you can't ever, fill from an empty cup. And so our process is about like starting from yourself first and then moving from there. Yeah.
Okay, so cup filling situation. Are we requiring someone else to fill our cup, or we're filling our own cups?
Or filling our own cups. For sure. Yes.
Well, and that's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Is that you first start with yourself and what brings you joy. And again, let's say that someone comes to us and they say, I've been married for 25 years and I'm exhausted and he's not doing what I want. Or if someone's in dating and they're just saying, I'm tired of being on these apps. I'm tired of the men out there. They're just so low effort.
And I'm tired of like keeping my weekends free and then I never get asked out, or like the people that do make plans and we're like, oh my God, no.
You're looking at this all wrong. Let's first start at like, well, what do you actually want? What do you desire? Oh, like I would love to be cherished. I would love to be courted.
I would love to be pursued.
Okay, well, I would love to just have more respect. A big one is they want more respect from their husbands. They want to be acknowledged, or they want more respect in dating with how men treat them. And we're like, okay, well, how do you respect yourself? How do you respect your own time? Mm-hmm. How are you proving to yourself that you are valuable in the same way that you want your partner to show you that he feels like you're valuable?
Well, and like, how do you keep your own commitments to yourself? Because we also have women reach out that they're married, they have young children. And they're like, when we talk about self-care with them, because that's our the main rule, or that's one of our main tools, which is a 3-a-day rule, at least 3 things for yourself in the moment that feel good while you're doing it. And we say, okay, well, like, what are you doing for self-care? And then what we hear a lot is, well, I don't have time for self-care. And, he hasn't really given me time for self-care. And I tell him I need time, but he never makes it a priority. And then we're like, oh, no. Like, you have to do that with your actions. Men don't, this is part of the primal part of men, is that they don't really respond to words. They respond to action. And so if you want to carve out time for yourself, then you do that by carving time out for yourself. And then you communicate that to him, like, hey, on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 5 p.m., I'm going to be taking time for myself. I would love for you to take care of the kids. Like, thank you so much for the support. We always say do this in text message so that they can always refer back to it.
And then it's obvious with that example, you don't have kids, because that's like the worst time, because it's like school
okay.
pickup.
Oh, sorry.
No,
what would it be like? What would it be like? 7
time.
Yeah. Well, what would it be?
Well, it could be like in the afternoon, or
yes, but you get the point.
Yeah, like after dinner, or before dinner. Yeah.
But the other side to that is that what we tell women is that, like, but when you go into your self-care, you're not telling him what to cook the kids for dinner. You're not saying don't take them to McDonald's. You're not saying, well, their bath time routine is this and you need to do that. You're not controlling how he parents while you're gone. You need to let him do that. And then you don't even because Hilary, you used to do this a lot.
My husband he'd message me and say, hey, I want to make bolognese for dinner. And I'd be like, great, make sure you go to the organic butcher. Make sure that you read the label on the sauce.
So that there's no seed
oils in it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd be like, okay, and I know last time you got that one kind of pasta that had the hole in the middle. Don't get that kind. Make sure you get this. And then it's like, okay, why are you, like, he's trying to do something nice.
Yeah.
But why don't I just say, cool, I'm going for a lighthouse walk. Thank you so much for taking care of the kids. Even though a big pushback we get is like, I'm going to thank him for taking care of my kids while I'm going and self-caring. They're his kids too. And you're like, no, that's not the point. The point is that when you start thanking him for what he's doing, he will start to do more for you, and he will start giving you the appreciation that you also crave. And so when you want to fill your cup, which was your initial question, 3 things per day that bring you joy in the moment. It can be scrolling funny reels for 15 minutes. It could be, or even 5, it could be eating a piece of Loco Love chocolate.
Yes.
It could be having like a cup of coffee in the morning quietly by yourself. But when you start actually getting intentional and getting present with 3 moments per day.
Well, and the barometer of what qualifies as self-care is it has to feel good in the moment.
Not
and
relief
there's no
after.
relief after. But again, the whole reason why we called this manifestation was because we're like, this is primal psychology, but then these are quantum physics. There's an overlap as well. So with self-care, what happens is a few things happen. When you start to get very intentional about prioritizing yourself, and because the barometer for self-care, what qualifies as self-care is it has to feel good in the moment, you start to get more, we've been shocked at how many women, when we say, like, what would you do for self-care? They say, I don't even know what I like to do. Like, I don't even know. But when you start making it a habit and prioritize yourself, you start to realize the things that you actually love doing. And it's different for everyone. And another sort of hack, what we say for that, if you're listening, you're saying, God, what would be my self-care? Those things that you call your guilty pleasures, right? That you usually don't give yourself permission for, right? So for me, it's watching reality TV because I love it. But now I'm like, that's not even my guilty pleasure. That's my freaking self-care. I love it, right?
You also start to rewire your neural pathways
to be more deserving.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But and also from a quantum perspective, if we're all like just energy vibrating at different frequencies, we always tell our clients, your solutions live in these high vibrations. So when you prioritize yourself 3 times a day and you're, out for a nature walk and you're feeling bliss and gratitude and like joy, that's where your solutions live. It's not, you can still manifest, you can still create your best, like you can still create your life by being in the lower frequencies, maybe through anxiety or resentment, things like that. But we say it's like walking through mud. Whereas when you are doing these micro moments throughout the day, you are elevating your entire reality,
your frequency
where things happen a lot quicker, which again was our biggest breakthrough. It wasn't just, oh my God, our husbands are
doing what we want.
Yeah, doing what we want with least amount of effort. It was, oh my God, my manifestation is coming through so fast.
I love that. So we can hack this through our relationship and through our partners.
100%.
Yes.
And that's the point, because we waste so much energy on our relationships.
Yes.
Or we used to.
Well, and trying to control and force outcomes
with men.
Yeah, with men. And when it's like, oh, no, you can actually, because if you think about your relationship, like whether that be a boyfriend or especially with boyfriends and husbands, they are a mirror for you. And so much of your like existence is tied up in that partnership. And so it's an amazing opportunity. Yes.
It's so fun. And then you get harmony, and then you're like, oh, you call back all this energy, and then you think, oh, but you get inspired again.
Yes.
You make room for inspiration and for your creativity, which is the whole point of being a woman, right? Like we're like these divine beings, like we bring life into the world, and also we bring our creative ideas into the world. But then we're tired because we've wasted so much energy trying to control other people, you know?
Well, because the tools that we teach aren't even, you start with men, but then they feel so good. You start using them with everyone. And so you realize like, oh, because one thing with men is that they love, they respond well to very succinct, concise communication, right? And so it's about giving them for example, like when you're expressing a desire you have to your partner, it's giving them the outcome, not the process. You're telling them what you would love. You're not telling them how to do it. And that's a manifestation hack too, because we always hear like, it's like focus on what you would love, not how it's going to come through.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're practicing all these quantum, like legit quantum theories on your husband, but they also happen to double up as these amazing primal psychological tools as well. Same thing with giving things space, right? So like when we talk about giving men space to lead, that's also a quantum principle, because when there's a space in quantum physics, it gets filled. And so that's another hack. So you're doing all these things. It's why we called it manifestation, because we were like, we know this is about primal psychology, but really this is quantum physics. And let's find the exact overlap so that women are more inspired to learn about it, because saying that this will help you understand men like doesn't quite hit as well as like, oh my God, this will help you manifest your best life ever. And it's not even about the men, figure them out so that you can take that energy and create your best life ever. And women are like, yeah.
Yeah. We say we say men are the portal.
Yeah.
Like, men are the portal, but they are not the destination.
But it is a good place to start, especially if you have been brought up in that mindset of, I do need to control everything. And so many of us don't even realize we're doing it. It was like Alison Armstrong's book was such a slap in the face, because she gives so many examples, like beautiful examples.
Which one? Yes.
The Queen's Code.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're really stunning examples. And I reckon I cried in that book. I also cried in Laura Doyle's book, because she had a whole part on like receiving and how poorly. And that was like one of my biggest things, and I won't go into the story. I'll tell you after.
Oh, okay. It's like behind the scenes.
Well,
Yeah,
but
for subscribers
receiving
only.
is also another
Manifestation
overlap.
hack.
Well, yeah, because it's like, how can you, because when we talk about the receiving from men, right? Because men love to give, men love to like, as long as they're being, as long as it's respected and gratitude is being expressed for what they're giving, they love to give. And what we realized with the receiving part is that even like receiving a compliment, right? As women, we can be like, someone says like, I love your top. And then you're like, oh my God, I got it on sale at Kmart. Like, or like, I don't even know where I got this. And we deflect.
I spilled coffee.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to hide that with my hair. But or you like compliment back straight away. Like it's like just ping pong with the compliment.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And it's, we always say like, if you can't receive a compliment, how are you ever going to open yourself up to receive the bigger things you're calling in, like the new job, like the new relationship? Because, and again, that's why this really interesting overlap of the primal psychology with the quantum physics, it makes it so much more fun. Yes.
But yeah, the receiving thing too. And when you realize how often you
reject it,
you reject help.
Yes.
Especially as moms, right? We reject help all the time because we're like, we can do it. I know, exactly. Yeah, I'm great at it. Well, this is my process.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's been interesting because Hilary and I will test like our friends. Well, I mean, not like we're testing them, but we are. And we'll just be like, oh my God, you look so beautiful today. And then because this was actually interesting. We did this viral series on
Instagram,
socials called TikTok. Things Your Mom Never Taught You. And so it was things your mom never taught you. And because that was our whole thing is we're like, oh, like our moms were so busy in the workforce, like paving the way in feminism.
For our freedom.
Yeah, for our freedom.
That we're now complaining about.
Yeah, exactly. that they didn't teach us some of these things, like how to receive a compliment. And
wow, Keshia, how great is the quality of your new podcast, Return to Wisdom? Oh, mate, I know. I have been recording at Byron Bay's premium content and podcast recording studio, Pod Byron. They are epic. It's new, it's fresh, it's legit, as you can see. If you want to upskill your brand, if you want to create a course online, this is the place to do it. Jump on at podbyron.com and be sure to check the show notes for a sneaky little discount on your first session. Pod Byron, that's where it's at.
And then
that was our first video that went viral.
Yeah, that was our first one. And then there were men in the comments that were saying, I can tell a lot about a woman who can receive a compliment. And it was just, we were kind of like, oh, this is so fascinating.
Yeah, the guy said, I can tell a lot about a woman by how she receives my compliment.
Yes.
And we were like, yeah, that's exactly it.
But
right?
now we're like receiving, I have no problem receiving anything. Yes. Because you realize, again, it's a manifestation hack.
That's so funny. Okay,
yes.
So I have real issues with receiving
still.
And I'm working on it.
You're working on it. Great.
I catch myself out all the time. Like, shit, I should have said yes to that. But like I worked really, really hard through this with Kim's help, actually, mutual friend.
Oh, okay. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because when I fell pregnant with Margot, it was a surprise pregnancy and I was freaking out. And she's like, you actually need to start saying yes to receiving help. Like, because people offer, when you're walking around with 4 kids, especially if you're walking around with 4 kids pregnant, a lot of people will actually offer you help. Like,
yes.
So much.
And you're beautiful.
Yeah, I know. Hi.
Yeah.
Hashtag model.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes. I am in half my colors.
Yes. We'll talk about that later.
But I was like, okay, I actually have to force myself to receive from people, and ask for help, which was like another step. And I got really good at it postpartum. But then as soon as I felt capable again, and it's because I felt very incapable postpartum. I was wiped, and towards the end of my pregnancy, completely wiped. So I was like, okay, I can say yes to this. Like almost my body is forcing me to say yes to help. But then as soon as I started feeling good again, I realized that I started like
being like, I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm good. No, I got this. And like the hardest part about receiving is that when you do got this and when you do show everyone how capable you are, you get a lot of compliments.
Well, you're a Virgo.
Yeah.
Is she Virgo?
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, you're like Danny. Yeah, we're one of our best friends is a Virgo. Like I can see, but the real flex is being able to receive with no intention of like
reciprocating.
And some people might be like, that sounds selfish, but no, Hilary and I also believe that like we're in this quantum reality. Like
that's not real.
That's not real. But like but this is the thing. It maybe it is not real in a sense. That being said, our whole intention is that we become so present and so intentional about the reality that you are creating, that my life is the most meaningful it's ever been. But with the
it's a beautiful illusion.
Yeah, it's a beautiful illusion, and literally you can have whatever you want in it. And so, like for the woman listening who is like, oh, like, you know, I'm in my 40s or I'm in my 50s, and like, can I really go after what I want? Can I really, like, you know, or like I have kids and like I don't know how, like, because again,
Is it too late?
Yeah, is it too late? It's like, oh my God, this reality like has to give you what you want. Like we are in. Is this getting too weird? Are you cool with it?
No, go. Good.
Okay, you're good.
Bring
Okay,
it.
great.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring the weird.
But this reality has to give you what you want. And so if you can start to employ, because what did you find, like with the receiving, did you find that everything became easier and like more was coming in? Like, what did you find when you actually had to receive?
I did. It like and heaps came in.
Like
and
magic.
It was actual magic actually.
Yes.
So a little story here.
Yes.
So I did open myself up to receiving and also paid help. I was like, first thing, postpartum doula.
Yes.
Which was for me like a lot of my listeners will know what a postpartum doula is, but for any newbies out there, they focus on the mother. So they're there to provide for the mother so that the mother can provide for the new baby, right? And so, I'd never experienced being taken care of postpartum before. So my 5th pregnancy, I'm like, I am actually dying. I was looking at my belly actually the other day, and I was like, whoa, I can't believe our bodies are incredible. But anyway,
I mean, yeah,
well,
especially yours.
I feel like you still wear bikinis when I've seen you at the beach.
Yes.
very, very flimsy bikinis too, because I want as much sun touching my skin as you.
Yeah, no, but like that's such a flex after 5 kids.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's all that was a test.
Yeah,
Love it. Yeah.
But yeah, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to get a postpartum doula. And it was really hard to ask my husband to fork out for the postpartum doula, but I did it. And as soon as I did, and so she cooks for me. And then I was like, and I'm going to, like, Kim was going to organize a bunch of meal trains, like send it to all the classes that I'm part of. She's like, they're going to cook for you if you can eat the meals, but like, that'll be for the kids' meals. And I'm like, great, because, you know, someone can cook for you, but I still got to feed my family.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you got to think about that. And then after this was all organized and I'm like, I'm set. We had someone email through, Addison, bloody angel, love you girl. She emailed and she's like, I love your podcast and I just want to cook for you guys. And I'm going to fly up. She lives in Melbourne. She's like, I'm going to fly up and I'm going to spend a day at each of your houses and I'm going to cook. I'm going to do like a 3-month freezer fill for you.
Oh,
3 months.
my
I just
God.
got chills.
3-month freezer fill.
And you obviously received.
And I received and I was just like I actually read it and started crying because I was just like, that is amazing. That was like we were so sorted. Like, so sorted. My first meal postpartum, you don't know when that's going to be. Like, I don't know, unless you've booked it to the hospital. But like,
yeah.
I
Well, not with you, with your
like
wild free birthing. Did you free birth this one too? Okay, I thought so.
Yeah. You're such a badass. I love you. You are.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's all, you keep passing all these tests. I love it.
Yes.
I can't wait to see what comes in after this because you're like receiving. Go on.
But yeah, and like that postpartum, we were just so sorted. Like I had that meal when I felt period pains. I was like, take that out of the freezer, put that, and it was ready to go. And it just needed to be heated up. I'm pretty sure actually my 8-year-old at the time went and heated it up for me, brought it in. So straight away I had a meal to eat. And like, and just for the next little bit, like so she was born at 9:30 at night. The next morning, we hadn't even told anyone that we'd had a baby yet. And a friend just came and dropped a meal. First thing in the morning, breakfast, right there. There we go. And I was just like, this is incredible. And anyway, I felt so held and I can't believe how quick that recovery was. And I do shout out to postpartum doulas for sure because that shit is necessary.
Yes.
In this
Well,
day
and they
and
have to
age.
really like hold space for you. And
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
And my postpartum doula, Prema, I'll also do a shout out. She did a lot of body work as well, which I felt like I really needed after 5 children.
Like massages or
massages, but like binding as well, and just like cranio for Margot. She flew out of my body, so like she in a little bit of.
She flew like the ejection reflex.
Like
thing?
it was 25 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go girl.
Yeah. Cheers. Manifested that one because I was like 26 minutes and I probably would have died. I was that exhausted.
Okay. Oh, because it was that intense. I hear when it's fast, it's more intense.
Yeah. It was intense. But like birth is intense. I just think I was so cooked by the end of that pregnancy that I'm like, there's no, like I could feel just a couple of little period pains, and every day I'd wake up and I'm like, I can't go into labor because there's no way I'm going to survive that. I'm like tired. I need to lay down. And then so she was like, you know, an extended dump.
Wow.
You know, and it was done. I was like, oh, look, and now here's a baby. Perfect.
And all of the support. And that's a big piece of
Yeah.
it, is that when you receive support and you open yourself up, it's your frequency shifts. You get also to the timeline, if we're talking about quantum physics, where there is more support. You're in this energy, and the more support you get, the better you feel. And so the more
Your
help
energy
comes
is in a place.
Yeah,
Yes.
because when you're tired and you're, constricted and you're feeling unsupported because you're not accepting help, but you still want people to read your mind and push through you saying no, right?
Yes.
All of these things. You open yourself up, your frequency shifts, more comes in. And that's the same with love. It's the same with your career. It's the same with anything
Money.
in your life. Money.
Yes.
Mhm.
All the things.
Well, and then you read Busting Loose from the Money Game and you realize money's not real. Have you ever heard that book?
No.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God.
Yeah.
I've got like friends who feel the same way. They're like,
Okay.
money is just play stuff. Like it's not.
Well, no, he says that money is not even real. It's like, and it's our deepest programming
yes.
of like this
because
illusion.
it distracts us from what we're actually meant here to what our purpose is in this lifetime.
because we're chasing money.
Yeah, because we're chasing money, it's the excuse people use to put off pursuing their passion. It's the excuse they use to like not go and actually like explore in this reality. And so if you can, so we just read that book. It's Busting Loose from the Money Game by, do you remember his name?
No.
Yeah.
But,
Anyways,
I'm sure you can link it. But
yeah.
it's, if you, we had this deep desire to like
Crack.
really crack the code on money. We're like,
Yeah.
what is the code on money? Okay. We love manifesting. Money's a part of that, but we're like, how does money come into that? And we read all these books, and then like at the very end of it, a friend, it was the last book we read, because then we were like, oh, money's not even real. Fuck, but a friend that we really trust, who's incredibly successful said, read this book. We read it. And then we were like, oh, okay. So what we realized is that chasing money is actually the path that of like the programming in this reality that,
Yes,
that is the
distracts.
deepest and distracts us. So
Yeah.
plot twist.
Well, it's given us a new purpose for our own life, in the sense that we ask ourselves, before we're about to do anything now, we always ask ourselves, are we focusing on the result, or are we engaged in the process? And
Like, would we do this even if we didn't know the outcome?
Yes.
Because it brings us so much joy.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's our compass at the moment. I mean, get us in like 6 months, we might have read something different. We're like, money's real, but but we're, again, because we're so obsessed with manifesting and like, what is this reality,
Yeah.
and how do we master this experience? Yes.
Can
Were
I-
you saying something?
Can I give you an example of something?
Yes.
So a common example. People don't feel like they have enough money, or they have scarcity mindset. I know a lot of women out there who are like, I have to work because we can't survive off one wage, or I'm looking after my kids and I have to do A, B, C, Z, Y, Z, whatever.
you're all the
Yes.
alphabet. A, B, C, D.
Yes.
The whole
I think X, Y, Z. Is
Yeah.
that what you meant to say?
XYZ.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I said tear down.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
we've all
Tear
been
up,
there.
tear
Yeah,
up.
tear up, build
Yes.
down.
Built it. But yeah, when this is a very common mindset to have. If we're in that place, we're in the trenches there. What is the first step we could take to start manifesting a better reality?
Oh yeah. Well, so this has multi layers, because I would say for the woman out there who is already in a relationship with a man, whether that be like marriage, I would say, because we were talking about this the other day, like if you have a desire to have more financial abundance, your man, if you know how to properly inspire because we have these things called the 3 Ps, which are men's like most basic instincts, which is to provide, to protect, and to procreate. And so men are designed to be the provider. And we're not saying that means you don't have a job, that we're not saying like,
what is it, like financial coercion? Like he has to manage every little thing.
Yeah, we're not saying that.
Yeah, we're just saying that like you have a really incredible asset right there to help you make more money if you just know how to inspire him to do it.
Yes.
So
the first thing we would say is that, which is a bit controversial, is that we would say, if you guys are married, if you're in a partnership, then start making sure that he manages all the finances. We're not saying be financially illiterate. We're not saying don't know the passwords to your bank, but start to, because Hilary, you have a story on this.
Oh yeah, we're saying, is this along the lines of what you were? Yeah, it's probably.
But we also have we have a hack in general for manifesting more money, but.
We'll get into that secondarily. Yeah. So it's in terms of managing the finances, it's more around your mental load, and having to pay bills is like it just makes you tired. And especially if you don't have a lot of money, you get a bill and you go, and then you pay it, and you're like, how are we going to pay this? What I found, so what we did when we first moved to Australia 9 years ago. My husband, he's older than I am, and we came here. We were very naive about the whole immigration process, and we moved to Melbourne. We just traveled for a year, and we're like, this is going to be easy. Like, they speak English, we speak English. Like, we got this, right? No. And what we realized is, there's this whole immigrating process, and in terms of getting like visas to be able to work here and then to be able to stay here. And they changed the rules right when Sean was going to look for a job. And they made it, they changed the age requirement. And so I was supposed to be staying home with our first daughter, who was, we moved here when she was 6 months. When we first started looking for work, maybe she was about a year old. And we're like, I guess if we want to stay in Australia, like I have to go to work. Yeah. And so we set up this system that ended up really making me super fatigued, and resentful, which was no fault of my husband's, because he really is like that classic provider. But when we got here, we said, okay, well, I'm the one that's working, so I'll set the bank account in my name. It's a joint account. I'll manage the money in Australia. You manage the money in America. At the time, we had assets in both places. And like when we would pay our mortgage, like I'm the one on the application because I have a job. And so I'm the one who's going to, basically, I took over everything. And then I thought, well, the Australian banking system is different. So I don't even want to put that on his plate. So I'll be the one to handle all of that. I'll navigate all of this financial stuff, and I can do everything. I was working. Then we had another child. My husband was running a tech startup, and which he still does to this day. But I just thought, well, I can do so much. I'm just going to do all of it.
Yeah. And maybe I can do it better than him. In terms of
that was the whole thing
managing
too.
All the things.
Yes, because although he runs a tech company, before that, I would be like, he has a hard time getting into his email properly.
Well, yeah, but also he comes from a finance background. Like it was like it's wild.
It's the stupidest thing ever. Yeah, like actually, like legit deep, like stock market. Like I want to even say he had like a master's in accounting or something.
Yeah,
something like he knows money, and he's not a dummy, right? He was making his way through the world doing his thing before he ever met me. But what I had realized is I'd created this dynamic where I was taking on everything. And then after I'd had 2 kids, and then we move here and we're doing different things professionally, it was like, and then we started Airbnbs, and then you're like, I'm cleaning them too. All of these things.
You were definitely over-functioning.
I was over-functioning.
Yeah. And so then, in terms of the money.
Yeah. And so in terms of the money, and this was a side effect I never even saw coming. When I was having him take things off my plate, and I just went to him and I said, I can't manage our finances anymore. I would love for you to do it for me. And those 2 pieces of language, I can't, which is very hard for women to say because, right, we grew up in this feminist era of you never say I can't.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I can't do it.
But we researched this. So on a primal level, when you say I can't, like we know now, like I can't is the biggest flex ever.
I say I can't all the time.
Yeah. I say it to men, I say it to women. But when we were researching why saying I can't is so effective with men, it pings because they're natural problem solvers. Saying I can't to a man in a very succinct way, not giving I can't because of this and I can't because you just say I can't. Their primal brain, which is wired to problem solves, goes, like I'm not getting a solution here. I'm going to go figure something else out. So you just say, I can't. And what Hilary did, I can't manage the finances anymore. And I would love for you to take this off my plate. Then she didn't interfere with how he paid the bills.
Yes, I could tell the story. I love how you always hijack my
only
stories.
because you're taking a long time.
Well, because I'm trying to give detail because I'm a woman and that's how we bond. Hello.
Yes.
We're going to be so bothered by the end of this podcast.
Yeah. So we, so I told him that he ended up taking things over and he would pay all the bills. And it didn't mean I didn't know what was going on, right? Because I still had a job, was making my own money, all the things.
You were still making money that was contributing to the family.
Exactly.
Also, can I also say, as a side, that is still very energy draining. Like because I also just palmed off all of the finances to Todd.
Yes.
And when I did, I was just like, I feel like I can breathe. And like he did manage most of it. I was like just doing maybe school fees and, a couple of little things that were more child related. But as soon as I was just like,
oh yeah,
I was like, wow, like this feels so much better.
Well, and not only that, because men, one of their primal instinct, like one of their strongest instincts is to provide. They start making more money.
Well, yeah. So I know that's a long story, but I'm going to get to the juiciest bit was then when he started managing all the finances, and I also. We had a piece of land that we were selling and I kept interfering because I'm a manifestation guru, right? I'm like, I gave him his like morning rituals and write this down. And here's when you're talking to the potential buyers, say this, do this.
Controlling
because I thought I knew best, right?
We all do.
Yes,
right.
We do.
We all do.
But what I realized is I actually don't. And he knows better than I do. In the interest of his own things, because his piece of land was his. And so I said, okay, I'm going to have him manage all of our finances. Whenever I get a bill from the landscaper, I say, send this to my husband. He's taking care of the finances now.
And all you put in, like you send it via email for the woman listening who's like, how do I even do this? You just you forward it to him and you say, thanks for taking care of this, babe. Kiss, kiss.
Yep. And that's it. And they do.
Yes.
And then when some balls get dropped, like maybe the mortgage is a few days late, you don't criticize. You just say, you're getting into a new habit. No worries. It's all good.
And what we will say is that maybe a bill will get paid late once, but the same bill will never be late twice because this is also something that we do with our clients because they're like, oh my God, my husband could never be in charge of paying the mortgage because it's going to be late. And we're like, no, you have to let them face the consequences of like managing your finances. Otherwise they're never going to learn. And what happens, so keep going with what.
Yeah. Cause the bank isn't going to take your house if you're 5 days late on your mortgage.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's not, or if the light bill is even a month late. And if the lights do go off, is anybody going to die? No, not unless Granny has like some kind of oxygen on, maybe. Exactly. But I think they actually they ask you about that.
Yeah. So the stakes are low.
The stakes are low. And so, but when I realized I had so much more energy with this plot of land, I totally got out of it. We've been trying to sell it for maybe 4 years. I get out of it completely. Within 2 months, he has manifested the perfect buyer whose name matches like the name of the property, like all of the things. And she was like basically a carbon copy of Sean, but like him 20 years ago.
But not only that, he started making more money.
He had his best month that he had in that business the month I started doing this. And the whole point, and it was just like, wow, it was this easy all along. But the problem the whole time was me. Mm-hmm. It was never him because he has this like masculine men, provider men. The man that you married is still there. What most women don't want to hear is that most times you've created the monster through your control. And that can be a really hard pill to swallow. And from this quantum, we live in a hologram, whatever. He's not real anyways. And he is just a mirror for you. And you created him.
Yes. We call our husbands our hologram husbands all the time. Like, oh my God, that's what my hologram husband did in the best possible way. But again, experimenting with these kind of things, because we would say, like when women come to us and they're like, okay, I want to shift this dynamic in my relationship. And then we say, okay, well, tell us about, or they're like, I want my husband to step up a little bit. Like, he just seems a little depressed and like, he
never helps around the house.
Never helps around the house. I'm the one making more money now. And we say, okay, well, so who's managing the money? And inevitably what she'll say is, well, me, like,
because he could never do it.
He could never do it. I do a better job. And then we say, okay, treat this as an experiment, right? Let's just be in experimenter mode for the next 6 weeks and then do this. And every time that his provider brain will activate and he takes it on, and then like our clients will realize, oh my God, I've been wasting so much energy and I've been the one that's been preventing him stepping up into this provider role. Because again,
he feels emasculated.
Well, and we had a client once as well who was at home with her third baby. Her husband was her husband was an employee at this business, and she was still paying a couple of the bills. And when we asked her to employ this process, she was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And then literally within a week, he came to her and he said, I didn't realize that like we're not making enough money to pay our bills. And so I'm going to go out and start doing cash jobs. And so there's this other part of having your man deal with the finances where they need the complete picture to be able to go out and be like, because what I will say too, another thing that we didn't realize about men is that providing is always on their mind. Like they are always thinking about how to take care of even my husband and I, we don't have any kids, but now that I understand him better, I'm like, oh my God, he's like always thinking about how to make sure the mortgages are juggled and we have enough money to do this. So it's like the burden, like the mental load that they have around finances, they were meant for it. Like much like with women, I'm not a mom, but it seems like the mental load around kids, like
making sure they're safe and
making sure
they're
you're built for it.
Yeah, you can't turn that off. And that's and that's something that I like. The genderless talk is just blows my mind because I wish I knew and how many countless relationships would be saved if they just knew he's actually constantly thinking about providing the same way as you are constantly thinking about your kids. So when you are at work and you are burning energy constantly because one, you've just like created the biggest trauma you've probably experienced, which you do daily, which is hand over your child to childcare. And then you're thinking about said child and that instance while you're trying to work. And then, anyway. But we like to say, or we like to share that our mental load is so crazy and you have no idea what that is like and you don't step up and you're not doing and if we did just like, oh, okay, we are equal, we just do it differently.
Yes. We're thinking about this different things.
Yeah, we're equal in that we're both stressing, but we're stressing about different things. Yeah.
And we're capable of taking on as much as each other.
Well,
but in different areas.
In different areas,
yeah,
for
so
sure.
Like,
yes.
He's never going to be able to carry a baby in his womb.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in his womb. Oh, I thought you meant like carry a baby. I'm like, I think they can. Okay.
Well, no, it's about working to your
well.
strengths. Yeah, like your innate strengths. Because even caretaking and nurturing kids, I noticed with my husband, he can like play with them and do all the things. And of course he'll cuddle them and love them. But for me, I could do it as a full-time job. Just like snuggle them, nurture them, like when they're being cute, when they're being feral.
But your husband can like take them out and play with them for like hours, which you're like, I'm too tired.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, oh, I just want to like sit here with, a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or, just like, I just need more of like chill time, but I can be there for the family in a way that he can't, quite frankly. And so it's like, don't expect me to show up like you. And he doesn't, I don't expect him to show up like me and just work together with, well, I don't want to say nature because like, that can get you like that can be controversial, but it's really with the harmony of what we find works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and look, I think there's like some biology behind that backs that 100%. And then you start thinking like, oh, these older patriarchal systems that were set up so that women could be with their children and the men could go and provide might have had something there.
We say this a lot is that like feminism was 100% needed in order to give us basic rights that we desired. It's interesting because
Mary Wollstonecraft. Cheers.
Oh, is
that? We haven't gotten down that rabbit hole. She's the OG. She's love it. But we feel like feminism, because I think feminism means something totally different depending on what decade you grew up in. And we were talking about this when we were with you a couple of days ago, that the girls and the young women of today, they equate feminism with choice. And that's what we say too. Like, we're grateful for feminism because again, not everybody wants to have kids. Not everybody wants to, like, now as a woman, you literally can do and be whatever you want, but it doesn't have to come at the expense of men. Like, men are not our enemy. We say men, like, one of the most controversial things we say is that men really are our allies. And they really, and because we have like women, we do have all the power. Like we have so much influence. And this is when we were researching again, the evolutionary component of men and women in our roles in tribes, right? Like feminine influence is a superpower. If you think about what happened while the men were out, protecting the tribe, killing for the tribe, like making sure that everybody was protected. Women were inside of the tribe, making sure that there was social cohesion. And so it's why women, we have this superpower of intuition. It's why we can look and see like a micro motion on someone's face and be like, oh, there's something going on, because that ensured the tribe's survival. And so this power that we have, this influence that we have, and it's not to the detriment of men, but it's also to realize that really men are here to support us. They're not here to oppose us. And when you can have more, I guess, I don't want to overuse the word respect, but when you can really understand men and how different they are to us, then they become even more of your ally, because like everybody's getting what they want and they take more off your plate and they do more for you. Like, but they love doing it because they're getting gratitude and respect and they love to be useful. So, it's like everyone, it all works in with one another.
It does. Yeah. I was just thinking about how we have the radio show here and we used to have this segment and it was called What a Man. It was when we first got into this. It was when we first got into all of this.
When we first discovered this, we definitely had rose-colored glasses on.
100%. We were like, all men are amazing. And then we started coaching women in dating. We're like, oh, there's actually a lot of fuckboys out there. We're sorry. We're going to retract that. There are a lot of men who misuse all of this. But so we started this segment because we're like, we love men so much. And there's this really good Salt and Pepper song called What a Man. Like, what a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. Yeah. And so we're like, oh, let's do this segment where we have women who submit, or just people in the community submit men doing amazing things. Like, have you seen
like my neighbor, for example, would always take out my bins. And so the first week we did it, which was the only week we did it.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point of the story. We did it twice because nobody ever wrote in anything. Because what we realized
we were the only ones.
We were the only ones who thought men were great.
I was like, shout out my neighbor. He took out my bins. Like, thank you so much. And then you did a shout out.
Oh no, there was a guy who saved like a trapped bird from your fence.
Yes.
And we were
they were both my submissions.
Yeah.
And then we were like, P.S. No one is gonna write in.
Well, yeah, like no one ever thought like men were doing great things in the community, but it was just a really funny, interesting data point of, acknowledging a man for doing something helpful is one of the most controversial things that you can do. Isn't it crazy?
It's so awful.
I know.
I have 2 sons, and
okay,
and so I've got like a really vested interest in this, and it was like, I do really love working on my relationship when we have a cohesive relationship, and sex plays a little part in that. So shout out to Kim and Ami. But
I need to get on this course.
Oh yeah,
I feel like I'm missing out.
It starts in like a few weeks.
Okay, great.
Well,
I used to register too. Oh,
yes.
Amber doesn't want me to be having better sex and better manifesting.
Well-effed woman, mate. I did vaginal kung fu.
Okay,
so, I did say that. I think maybe
yeah.
But I had some actual physical issues happening because of
5 births,
and a very quick birth. But it was actually from Poet's birth that I'd had issues. I just didn't do anything about it because I was like, last baby, and then I got pregnant again, and I was like, oh God, this is going to get worse. So it didn't, thank God. But after doing Kim's course, I was like, oh my God. And I haven't even finished it yet, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. But you got that much out of it and you didn't even finish it.
So I think I got through the first 5 weeks, and then we had the cyclone hit, and then it just came off my radar. But I will go back and finish it because I'm like, if I can get this much benefit out of only half the course, imagine if I can just get those last...
Anyway.
Get it in. Well, no, but I actually
there is a jade egg involved. So yes, that's appropriate.
I threw away my jade egg when I just moved, and I was like, oh,
why'd you do that?
Because I just thought I'll get another one. Oh, it's all the poor person that found it in the dumpster. They're all, what's this?
Yeah.
But along the lines of manifesting, because this whole manifestation thing started around for me getting a cervical orgasm and the whole manifesting piece. And what Kim and Ami says is that when you get your sex life dialed in, that you manifest more money, you and the connection that you have with your man. Because I also have a deep desire to be deeply connected and sexually fulfilled with my husband, right? But I would say that the deeper desire is to have us both manifesting as much as possible for our lives, right?
Well,
and just
because
being
it's
in
all
our
energy.
power. Yeah. And so a friend of mine I saw this weekend, she did Keminami's Coming Together, which is like the couples one.
Yeah.
And they only did 20%. And I was like, I didn't even want to hear about, the giving head for an hour or whatever it is, like all the things. I was like, what did you manifest? And she was like, oh my God. Well, she like had this art that was in the country that she's from, and it was like she's an artist, and she had given it to whoever an art dealer, and it's been there for years, is what I gathered. And she totally forgotten about it, and they did like the first week of the course, and she got a call, and the art dealer said, hey, can you send me an invoice for $4,000? And she was like, yeah. And then she said, the things that happened with my husband, his business is like, bruh. And I was like, and I was like, this is enough. This is enough for me, right?
Yeah, you're like sold. I'm signing up right now.
Yeah. So you should definitely do that.
I will.
Well-effed woman.
Well, in the name of,
I'll put my link on this.
Put your
too,
code
so
in this.
anyone who wants to sign up. This will come out after Well Fucked Woman, but there are
so many others.
Well, it sounds like she has a
courses.
lot going on. Yeah.
And the courses are incredible. So
Go
I'll put a link up for anyone who wants to sign up for that, because
who wants to manifest? Hello, who doesn't?
Manifest. It's a manifesting hack.
Yes.
All right. I feel like we're
getting on time.
We are. I'm trying to, because I could talk to you guys forever, but I feel like we do need to start wrapping up.
Yes.
Let's quickly hit color.
Oh,
And we're taking this for a turn.
Color analysis.
Color analysis.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say, when did you get your colors done?
Yeah, this is Burr speaking. I got my colors done. So if anyone hasn't heard of color analysis, essentially it is it's like a multi-palette system where the way that we explain it is that like everyone has their own unique like set of like your hair color, your eye color, your the undertone of your skin, even your teeth, like everything goes together in like one cohesive frequency. But for color analysis, I mean, even if you just Google it, like basically it's like everybody has a certain types of colors that magnifies them and that makes them shine. And so when I was about to turn 40, and again, because like the algorithms probably can read your mind, I found this woman on TikTok who was talking about color analysis. And it was like, okay, if you're ready to be seen, do color analysis. This will put you into your most magnetic colors. You can find out your best hair color, your best everything. And
like clothing, jewelry, nail
jewelry,
color,
like
everything.
Literally everything. And so I thought, oh, this is interesting. So I booked a session with this woman, and it really was life-changing. I went like balls to the wall, all of her recommendations. I'm a true autumn. So is Hilary, but
and so are you.
Yeah. We did Keshia's colors. And I thought, okay, this makes a lot of sense.
And a true autumn is like those rich, like earthy, not just earthy tones, but they have a lot of
grounded in depth. Yeah. Yes. And so I thought, okay, and I had been like a blonde since I was 16. I started dyeing my hair. And so, in the autumn palette, the best thing is like a warm red or like a warm brown,
like a deep rich brown.
Yeah, deep rich brown. But I thought, you know what, like fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. And even my husband thought, he said to me like, I love your hair blonde. And I said, oh, well, that's great. Like, I'm still doing this. And he, and I did it. And I was like, oh my God, I look so amazing. Like
once you changed everything.
Yeah. Because I did, everything was in alignment with my palette. I changed my hair, my makeup, down to my mascara color, down like literally everything.
Your jewelry, your nail colors.
Literally everything. And what I found is that I started manifesting faster. And I was like, and I started telling everyone, oh my God, get your colors done. This is a manifestation hack and we understand, because we've literally become certified in color analysis because we're that obsessed. Mm-hmm. And because it's something that we used to always have as a requirement for our private clients. We're like, look, if you're looking to up level your life in any way, you have to get your colors done and we knew it was a manifestation hack, but we didn't know why until we started looking at the frequency component. And we talked about this with you during your consult, which was, again, everybody has their own unique energetic signature, the combination of your eye color, your hair color, your skin color, all the things. And when you drape yourself in fabrics, in jewelry, in makeup that all harmonize with one another,
match that frequency.
This is if anyone's ever seen the tuning fork experiment, we use that one a lot, which is two tuning forks that are calibrated to the same resonance. When you ping one, the other one starts to vibrate. So when you drape yourself in fabrics that are an energetic match to you, they don't just meet each other. They amplify your personal frequency. And so you become, when people start, like, it's for people definitely that are ready to be seen, because what happens is that instead of being a big like distraction where people are like, I love your hair, or I love your top, or like, that's a nice ring you have on. People start saying, you look so beautiful, because your eye is no longer being like, where do I look? And it just is naturally drawn to you, to your face.
And you
so,
stop wasting energy on
my
choosing
God.
clothes.
Yes.
You know exactly what looks good on you.
Yes.
You know exactly what colors to buy. You get like a little pocket, little thing that you have on your phone.
Yes.
And you save so much money.
Yes.
Even though money's not real.
Yeah. Well, imagine being able to go into a store and like, I know a lot of women can feel this way. I certainly did before color analysis, which was I would go into a store and I would see things that I liked. I would try a bunch of stuff on, but then like maybe I'd leave with something, or I'd buy something because I'm like, that's a really nice sweater, but I didn't know what looked good on me. And so oftentimes I would leave feeling really disappointed, and I would come home
feel ugly.
I would feel ugly, and I would come home and I'd be like, God, if I want to be pretty for like a thing I have on the weekend, I need to go get a spray tan, right? Like just like put stuff on to try to like
or get my hair done, get my makeup professionally done.
Yeah, and it's like, well, no, the whole point of this. And now what happens is I go into a store, I know exactly what colors I should be choosing from, and I'm like, it's like, again, it's a manifestation hack, it's an energetic hack, because you're just being so intentional with your actions. And now I just have like, instead of having a whole, 5 different jumpers, right? I'm like, oh, I have one really beautiful brown one. Okay, I have, like at the moment I'm wearing an indigo jumpsuit. I won't need to buy this again, because I'm like, this is
in
perfectly,
another color.
in another color,
No.
because I'm like, this is perfect for me. And so again, if our whole intention in life, other than like helping women manifest their best life ever, is like getting so intentional, becoming so just like intimate with like you and your and like knowing who you are. And color analysis is such a huge step in that. You really do start to walk in the world like you know exactly who you are.
So you shared with me on, when was it? On Monday, when I saw you guys, that actually wearing the wrong colors can do and how that can manifest on your body. Could you go through that really quick?
Oh, yes. It's so
yes.
fascinating. So do you ever put on a certain color and you're like, oh, the underneath my eyes, it looks darker.
Or like my eyes look kind of red.
My eyes look red, or like like I might have like broken little like capillaries and they just look like more angry. And that's because the frequency. So when you put clothes in certain colors that don't fit with your inherent frequency,
which is called dissonance.
Yeah, it's called dissonance. It actually irritates your skin. It irritates all of those things. So you look more yellow because there's irritation happening in your eyes. You look like your capillaries stand out, or you look like your rosacea is more irritated because it actually is.
Yes, because again, we're all just energy.
Vibrating at different frequencies.
Yes, exactly.
And we didn't make that up. That was like Newton or something.
Yeah, that's somebody a lot smarter than us.
Someone smart did that.
Yeah,
Yes.
someone really smart. That's like on a
Yes.
science wall
Well,
somewhere.
and that's how we see color. Color is frequency, and so that's how we see the different types of frequencies.
So when you're in harmony, it's like you can see it in the mirror. It was like everything got brighter. It's like you get an instant facelift.
Yes.
Your skin looks creamier.
yeah, you saw it during your session.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
Or
you were
did you?
kind of like,
Is it-
damn it, like now I have to go get new clothes.
Yeah. that was my, I should be like, oh yeah, now I know what I feel like, what I can wear. And my thing was like, shit, I don't think I have any clothes that are going to work for me.
Well, our thing is that like for women, because for you, obviously you have this podcast and you have this platform. And so it's like, okay, great. Maybe I'm not going to go and buy a whole new wardrobe right now. P.S. You have a lot going on. But it's like, okay, when I'm going on my podcast and I know I'm going to be videoed and I truly want to be seen and have the attention be drawn to me and not what I'm wearing, then like, okay, then I'll choose something for my palette, right?
Next jumper.
baby steps.
Next jumper I knit for myself, because it is time that I make a new jumper. It's going to be on like some kind of plum or maroon.
Love it.
You were in that
Deep
color. It was
depth.
like fire. It's all tag us, please. Yes. But we have tons of before and afters on our Instagram, and you can see me, Burr, what I looked like before, because
And other
it's
people.
wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Amazing. All right. So if people want more from you guys, where can they find you?
So our socials are at Twin Transmissions, TwinTransmississ.
IONS. Are you okay?
You'll
link it. I will link it.
Yeah,
I will link it.
yes.
I'll tag.
Yes.
Yeah, on Instagram and TikTok, but we definitely show up more on Instagram.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you can hear us on Bay FM on Thursdays in the morning
Yes.
from 7 to 9 if you like old school R&B and hip hop.
Yeah, we have a radio show where we do hip hop, but then we also talk about manifesting in men.
That actually is the best music. ever too. If I ever needed something DJ'd,
Yeah.
we'll be doing it.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Hilary's
Yeah.
taking a DJ course,
Like an intensive,
so she can
8
actually
month.
mix our music.
Yeah.
Hey, love that.
It's all happening. Well, that's the point of manifestation. Like, in my husband, he's watching the kids, and I'm just saying, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, I really feel supported by you, babe. And he's like, go do your DJ school for 8 months, girl. Do your thing. That's the whole point.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming on. This has been delightful, as I started with. And yeah, I'm going to start putting some of these things into play, and I'll let you know what I manifest through my podcast.
Thank you. Yes. You're
All right.
welcome.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. If this ignited a flame for you, please share, follow the show, and leave a review. The more support and subscriptions the show gets, the more powerful and credentialed guests I can bring on to deepen these conversations. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you next week.